Hi, my name's Willoughby. I filed a $50,000 lawsuit against code compliance. I have an interview, a lengthy interview you can listen to, an unedited. I'm putting the whole unedited video interview with the superintendent of code, and so you can see for yourself. If you think we've got a case, chances are it won't even make it to court. There's a chance it won't even make it to court. But nevertheless, I should be asking for $50 million. But $50,000 I thought was a amount for invasion of privacy. I just don't think code compliant officers should have the right just to come on your property when they want to and start taking pictures inside your house. So let's see how it comes out.
How in the world are you?
Overweight and underpaid. That's how I am. What's your name and what's the day and the date and all that? I want to record our call, okay?
Oh, that's fine. This is Ty Kitchens. Suing Fort Worth Code Compliance. Today would be October the 23rd at just before 10 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, appreciate
It's been
that.
a while since I talked to you, Mr. Willoughby.
Okay.
But I was just returning a voicemail that you had left for...
Well, what I did was I left a voicemail with Shannon, the assistant director, okay? And I just left that as a reference that I am doing what I'm supposed to be doing, but the code compliant officer ran away. When I asked him what his supervisor's name was, he ran away. Now that, I find something wrong with that, okay? How about you? Is that normal procedures?
To do what?
To run away. When I ask an officer what their supervisor's name is it normal procedure to say this meeting's over with and run off? Is that normal?
I'm not entirely certain that that's what happened.
No, wait a minute. It's on film. It doesn't matter. Let's back up one thing here. Please hold. It doesn't matter if it happened, didn't happen. I'm asking you a direct question. Is that normal procedures? When a code officer is asked what their supervisor's name is, to close the meeting and run away. Is that normal?
No, I don't.
Okay, thank you very much. That's just all I wanted right there. Now we can move on.
Sure.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Problem, Bob.
Go ahead.
No, I think given the circumstances you've just described, he's probably a bit intimidated by you having a camera in his face and asking him questions like that. Not everybody responds to that in the same way.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that probably had a little bit to do with it.
Would you like for me to elaborate on that or all this? You go ahead and tell me all you need to tell me, and anytime you want to elaborate on that, because there is I disagree with intimidation because I had talked to him before he came out here.
I'm sure, because you guys made an appointment, right?
Yeah, I talked to
Okay. Mr. Blake, you're a code compliance officer, right? And the first day you came out, you asked me if you could put a sign up on my door or on one of those posts there, and I said no. Is that correct? Remember there's a sign you said could you post it on my door?
I haven't posted any sign.
I said you don't remember saying that, asking me if you could post that sign on our door?
I do remember talking to you about that. Yes.
And then you said, can I put it out here?
Yes, sir.
And I said, that's a city, you can do what you want. So Mr. Blake, you put it right, let the camera get going there, right here, right? By the mailbox is where you put it. That's where I removed it from, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's the first time you were out here. Okay. Okay, now, let's see what the next question was. I just want to verify that was first time out. Hang on, camera. Let's get this going here. Okay, now, what I like, sir, is your supervisor's name. What's your supervisor's name?
Mr. Willoughby, are we...
Can you speak up, please?
Yes, sir. Are we speaking about the property right now, sir?
Well, right now I'm asking you a few questions before we go, then. I want to know who your supervisor's name is, please.
Okay.
You should be able to answer these questions without any problem,
okay.
Really. They're simple, right? They are simple, right?
Mr. Willoughby.
Okay.
Mr. Willoughby, we can have a discussion about the property right now. I can provide you all that information once we talk about that. So are you just recording?
No, what I'm doing is it's not going to be a one-way street. It's going to be a two-way. I ask questions, you answer. You ask me questions, I answer. That's a two-way street. Right now, I'm asking you questions, and I expect you to answer me these questions. So before I answer you my questions, sir, and I think that's not unfair. Is that correct?
Mr. Willoughby?
Sir, could you answer that question, please?
We can do.
Could you answer me? Is that being unfair, sir?
Right.
Can you answer that, sir?
You have a good rest of your day, okay, sir? Thank you.
So you calling it in right there, sir? Okay.
Him in person the first time he came out here, it was I was caught off guard. Oh, did I lose you? You there? Okay. I was caught off guard because I have turned in a case on the property across the street from me. Okay? And they told me I would get a response within 72 hours. Okay. I did get a call. I couldn't understand it on my machine from him. I tried reaching back to code compliance, thinking they were going to answer me about that case. Okay, that I turned in at 616 Fay Boulevard. Okay, I'm in my studio, and I can see through the glass door. I saw when the code compliance officer came up on the property. I thought, oh, good. Well, he's here because it's the same day. I'm trying to reach him. It's all just right there at that time. We're talking right there inside that period. I'm thinking he's here to respond about, say, Mr. Willoughby, this is what we're doing over there about that case, that. That's what I'm thinking. He's just answering what my complaint is. I don't know any other reason why he would be here, okay? But that's the only one I know at that point. But when I come out, I find out he's not here about that case. He's about me. They turned me in because I retaliated. They retaliated is what they did. The guy across the street turned the garage into an apartment and was renting it out, and he turned the house. He's renting the house out. He was doing both. This is not zoned for that. He did this, and I'll get this good on tape here and everything. Now, he did this over a year ago, and there was a family living in the house, and the other guy, different person living in the garage there, and they're renting them both out. I didn't say anything. They were in violation, but I didn't say anything because the penalty, one of them had to move out, and that's not right. The owner should be penalized. There should be some kind of leverage against this guy that did this because he did it intentionally, okay? But I didn't turn him in then because if I did, one of those families, and it's not their fault. It's not the renter's fault. I hate being accused of something that I'm not, being penalized, something I'm not guilty of. It's the owner's fault. You follow me there? So I didn't. But when they moved out of the big house, I put a sign up front here. It's out there right now by the street. And it's warning people that if you move into 616 Fay Boulevard, you could be in violation of a zoning violation to warn people. Now, he called code compliance, and they came out here, okay? And they told him there's nothing they can do about it. But now, while code compliance is out here, I guess there wasn't nothing wrong here because they sure didn't start writing me any, coming on my property or talking to me about anything. Okay, so they were here about the sign. They said there's nothing they can do about that. And they went on, and he didn't like that, so he couldn't rent the house out. He did a lot of work in there, and he started moving someone in there. They started moving in, and I went ahead and called code compliance. I said, they're in violation. So apparently, and they moved out. They're gone. They had to move back out right away. They saw the sign. He knows it's not supposed to, but he went ahead and did it anyway. This man is 100%, if this was a murder charge, he'd be guilty, without a shadow of a doubt. He is 100% guilty of intentionally breaking rules. There ought to be some kind of penalty here levied against him for doing that. Now, I don't know. This is y'all's department. There should be. If there isn't, our city council should put one in anytime someone intentionally, I'm saying without a doubt, and this is without a doubt, there's a sign, everything without a doubt. Matter of fact, in front of the garage, it's not a garage, he had a sign, and I got pictures of this, saying do not block the garage driveway. It's not a garage, it's a house. I filmed the guy inside there. I done got all the evidence for that without a doubt. But anyway, that's what I turned in. When those people moved in, he intentionally, they saw the sign, they moved in, I called, they moved back out. It's vacant. It's costing him. It's pissing him off because the big house ain't rented, but the little one is, and I love it. He can't rent it right now, and I don't know what's going on there. But your officer came out, and I thought he was going to inform me of what's going on. Instead, he came after me, your officer did. Okay? Mm-hmm. I've been down this trail before. The difference is this is my property. It's not rental property when I went down this 13 years ago. And also, I know who I'm dealing with now. So I'm ready. So yes. But anyway, I talked to the officer, you damn right, I'm going to record everything I do because I've done been. Code compliant has the privilege. You guys have the privilege to lie without repercussions. I've met with David Cook, the city manager. I've mentioned it at city council. I've asked write in a policy saying that you cannot lie, okay? It's in the Bible for crying out loud. It's a top 10 in there, okay? But you have the privilege because y'all did it about me and sent stuff behind my back and attacked my character back 13 years ago. Behind my back. like that and got away with it. That's what started this whole thing. So we're at square one. We kind of come back around full, and I'm kind of glad this time it's my property, okay? But here we are. I'm calling about that. He comes up about this one. He says, no, Mr. Willoughby, I'm calling about your property. Okay? Sure. He's calling about me. I'm going, oh, wow, okay. So that guy turned me in. Now, the announcer of that guy, he's not only breaking the rules, he's overly breaking the rules, but he's also retaliating because someone's, going after him for breaking the rules. So that guy that owns that property is, and I got another film of him too. He's a crook. He's nothing but a crook. But anyway, the code officer comes out here, and I'm talking to him in the street. He says it's about my property and my things. Okay, yeah, there is some stuff here, but we'll get to that later. Let's stay on the first thing. First thing is, I filed on that one across the street. I want to know about that first. I want to be informed about that first. And that's what I told the officer while we stood there. I said, well, first, let's talk about that one, okay? And I said, as soon as we're through addressing that one, then we'll address mine. But we're not going to skip that one and then start addressing mine. Okay? He didn't seem to see that's okay. He didn't think that's good. He said, well, that's not the way it works. And I said, well, it's the way it's going to work. If it can help it, it's going to work that way. You're going to address that one with me first. And then he couldn't tell me anything about it. He didn't answer anything about it. I still haven't got an answer about it. You're supposed to in 72 hours. I still haven't got one. He asked me while I was here, well, one thing he asked, could he go around the house? I said, no. You cannot go around the house. He asked me, could he put this form, I got it right here, this piece of paper. He wanted to post it on the door. He said, can I go up and post it on the door? I said, no. Because you're not talking about, I informed him that you're not talking about that one first. You're coming after me and not talking about that one first. So there I see no reason to be cooperative with you, because I don't think you're being it with me. I don't feel fairly treated now. So he asked, could he put it out there by the mailbox? I said, well, that's city property. You can put whatever you want there. I have no power over that anyway, so sure. So he posted it by my mailbox. Okay? Mm-hmm. I take a picture. I got all this is going on video there. I'm working on a document to put this out there. He puts that by the mailbox. Okay, so this tells me, I told him no. And there's also a sign right there that says no trespassing too. Okay, all that. So he leaves. Sometimes that day or within the next day, he comes back on my property, takes pictures, and not only takes pictures, but he takes pictures inside my house. That's an invasion of my privacy now. Now, if he had the power to do that legally with y'all, and if he has the right to do that, then why didn't he just go ahead and post that other thing and set it out by the mailbox on the door? So it tells me that when I told him no, that means I feel like I got some kind of rights. I said no, he didn't do it. But for some reason or other, when I'm not here, does that give him the rights then to come on the property and do this? He's not been instructed, no. So when he came back out here, this next meeting at 11 o'clock I had the other day, when he came out, I was ready with my camera. And when I came out the street, I met him. I was nice. I said, Mr. Blake, we've got to answer a few questions, and we'll move on. I said, we need to do things. And he was kind of hesitating about that, but I pulled out the camera, and I put it on, and I want to make sure I got him on camera. Saying that, I said, Mr. Blake, well, the first time you came out, you asked me if you could put this on that door up, and he acted like, I don't know, well, he wasn't sure, and I said, and I had to go on with a bit, but he finally admits on camera, yeah, he put it right there by the mailbox. Also, admitting this is the first time he's been on the property. So he couldn't have came on the property and took the pictures earlier, and then be submitting them, which he shouldn't have been anyway if he did that, but anyway, he couldn't have came on there, he had to come on after he had posted that thing. And if he did it afterwards, he was informed not to come on this property. He was told not to come on this property. And he should have took the proper procedures before he came on this property. Another step on here. He should. And also, I've asked him, who is your supervisor? I asked him, who's your supervisor? And that's the question I asked him. After I got him to admit that he put that there, and says, the first time I'm meeting, I'm giving you all the information here. But he right there, it established my proof, that he's not been here before, and he took the pictures after he was informed not to come on this property. Right there's my proof. I asked him, who is your supervisor? And then that's when he ended. He said, I'm going to end the thing here now. Now, why can a code, like you just said, that's not normal procedures. They should always, right off the bat, they should be able to answer that question. Anybody I call, who's your superior? Who's your boss? Yes, that's normal. That's just normal. But he ran away at that point. Now, to settle my case right now, I'm going to tell you right up front right now. I'm looking at some other things right now, what we're going to do about this, and I'm going to put it on there. Code compliance has not changed since, and this goes deeper than my case. I want things changed. I want people protected. Code compliance prey on the low income, the low IQ, the handicap, and the seniors. They treat these people badly. I got enough footage. There's one guy with his foot cut off in a wheelchair, and this company was about to rip them off for thousands of dollars. And I've got it on film from Code Compliance. And he ran away, the Code Compliance officer did, in Fort Worth here. And you know who I blame? Councilmember Chris Nettles. This is his district. That man should have stepped up and investigated, but he didn't. So anyway, I don't want to waste a lot of your time, because this goes into where we go to everything here. I blame the mayor for it. It is. It starts with the mayor. It's all the mayor's fault, 100%, and I can prove this is the mayor's fault. The mayor's job is to tell the city manager to come after the supervisor when they're not doing a job. No one would go after Brandon Bennett. I got screwed around. No one do it. No one do it now. There are rules that need to be changed in code compliance before I'm going to recognize this organization as a legitimate organization. At this point in time, code compliance is not a legitimate, and is not a respectable or a trustworthy organization. I'm not going to do that. Now, I'll play fair when it's 50-50 back and forth. But this is not right whatsoever. Now, as far as my house, well, here's one thing. What happens is the city, you write rules, and then you don't include, we're not included when the rules are written. See, they write the rules and we're not included. This is one thing that has to be changed. The rules need to be written, but we need to be included when the rules are written, that we agree to these rules. They don't include us. They write the rules they want, and then they come and enforce us. And they got a set of rules that probably comply with the suburban area, where all the houses are next door to each other. I don't live in that same kind of atmosphere. Well, I've got an older house, acre of land. We're out kind of the country, and this house has been here 60 years, and it always needs repair. It's a never-ending job. And between you and me, I'll tell you right now, I don't want to explain to anybody how I'm working on my house. Now, if you want my house done up any quicker, which I'm doing, I know what I got to do, and I know when I do it, I know when my budget does it, and I do it at my pace because I live here. Now, the only time I will dip deeper in my pockets and jump harder is when my neighbor comes over and says, Bob, your tree's hanging over my property, or this is doing this, or something. You bet. I jump and take care of the meeting, and say my neighbor does. But we've been here 60 years next door to each other. There's no problem, because we talk to each other. We don't call code compliance. And no one called code compliance on me right now except this guy for a retaliation. Yes, true, it's in violation, and I know what's wrong, and I know it's going to be fixed, and I knew it's going to be fixed. But I'm not going to answer to people when I'm going to do it, how I'm going to do it. It's hard to believe. I've been here 60 years now. I've got someone standing in my yard telling me, it's going to tell me how I'm going to do things here, okay, that doesn't even live in this city. Officer Blake doesn't even live in Fort Worth, and he's telling me how I'm going to do it. No, that's just no good. Code compliance needs to be reformed. I've yelled it for 10 years. It needs to be reformed. City council won't do it. The mayor won't do it. The DA for code compliance, oh, this is such a scam. It is. I've seen them. They use these same rules. There's two rules I've been asking to change for 10 years. One is you should not be able to write citations with zero notice. That's one, right off the bat. That should be changed. Two, you should not be able to write them every 24 hours for the same violation. That's another one. That is just too much power for nuisance ordinances. Way too much. That has to be changed. And I believe everybody in the city agrees except for council. And the DA uses that in your courts. When you go to court against city code and they have a jury, that DA will stand up there and ask the jury, well, do you think code compliance should be able to write citations with zero notice? And if they say no, they're dismissed. We almost lost half of my jury because people didn't agree. Of course, you can get half a jury that don't care. You know, always that. So, but anyway, those rules, they use it in court. And they need to be changed where the DA can't use that. And they need to be changed to treat people decently. So I look at code as part of the whole system, like our communist merit took away our free speech. It's all about government control. And they intimidate people instead of service people. So it needs to be reformed. It needs to be reformed with the people's approval because it's our money that pays for it. We lived here. These rules don't need to be set for one set of rules for everybody. We live in a different atmosphere. I don't live in the same as the papers at the other end of the street with all those houses down there in those A5 area. That's a different atmosphere. I mean, we've got horses, we've got barns. I mean, like I said, it's a full-time job taking care of my property. But I enjoy doing it when I can do it at my pace and the weather. And I damn sure don't want somebody here standing in the front yard, the arms crossed, foot tapping, telling me how fast I'm going to do it and when I'm going to do it. That's not going to fly with me this time. Not at all. So I hope you understand where I'm coming from. Now, that's where, if you want to help me. Now, I had a meeting with the director, Brandon Bennett, and I recorded it. I've got an hour meeting with him. And that man could not answer questions. He was not qualified to be there. He tries to intimidate you, and he does not address the issue, and that's the problem. We need someone that will address the issues instead. And that's what the mayor and them do. They don't address the issues. They attack you instead of addressing it. If they don't like it, they attack you, and that's not good. So on this, where I'm at right now, what I'm requesting, the new director needs to give me a meeting. I want a meeting with the director, and I want to talk about these rules, and they got to be changed. You want me to start playing game with y'all, or even recognizing you as a legitimate organization? You're going to start recognizing people as citizens and humans. And what I'm seeing and what I recorded, what Code's done, and like his attitude too, right there. That's why he's doing it. We don't have the right management going down, and it starts with the director, the right supervisors and stuff like. I called this supervisor, and they would return a call, and stuff. So that's what's wrong. It needs some training. This officer might be okay. Mr. Blake might be okay. I believe it comes from his training is why he does this. It's not the right training down there. And we don't need Code Ranger. That's another scam, too. Those people out there don't have a life, and they like going around, turning people. Like I said, there's a whole list of things that need to be discussed. They need to be discussed publicly, and they need to be public opinion on it, okay? And see the public. And if the public disagrees with what I can live with whatever the public says. I just can't live with what a handful of dictators say, okay? That I can't live with no more. I've been here 60 years all my life. I never had anybody come in my yard and tell me. So here's another thing. I meant to tell you this. The person that filed the complaint, tell them, I want to know, won't they come to me and talk to me? If they come to me instead of filing to y'all, if they'd come over here and say, Mr. Willoughby, we're trying to clean up the area a little bit. That looks kind of bad. Do you need some help, or is it in your plans to fix it, You know what? I would stop what I'm doing, and I would jump on it immediately, and not feeling that I'm being forced to by some communist organization. That's the difference. That's what I'm trying to get out here. I feel like I'm being forced by a communist organization. I'm resisting that, okay? 100%. Now, my neighbor, and that's what we do with my other neighbors, and we've done that for years. And that's what and Code Compliant don't teach that. They tell people, don't talk to your neighbor, talk to us. Talk to us. That's what they're trying to do, is isolate people. So I'm against that. I'm fighting. I'm resisting that. I want people to talk to the neighbor. Now, if you sense that your neighbor is unreasonable, and there's people like that sometimes, or they're hostile, they could be hostile quickly or whatever. If you sense that you're not going to be able to do this, then we need Code Service. That's what I want to change the name to, Code Service. They should be able to call Code Service to come out and intervene and see what the problem is and lay down what the rules say. That's it, and comply with the rules and do it for them and be a mediator in that form. Not to come out to look at every little thing. They go around, they snoop on your property, look in your windows, want to go in your backyard and want to try to find everything, and ride you like that. That's no good. That's not good for our city. We need Code Service to serve us, the people. To serve us. So that's what they should be there for that. And that's when they're needed. And if we do that, it also reduces the size of code compliance, because that one officer back then, she'd been out here 20 times on this one case and wrote me up. Well, I don't want to go into that, but I got all the paperwork, all the bogus tickets. Even people downtown said they were bogus. I did 6 days of community service under a bogus citation, but I didn't mind because I was getting involved with our city learning. But it does leave a scar on you when you do something and you're not guilty. And even people downtown that work for the city said, you were not guilty. And we know it. We know it. It was all rigged. It was just a railroad. So anyway, we're going through it again now, and I'm kind of glad. I even told the neighbors at the other end of the street when code compliance was bothering them at the far end of the street down there, they was having some problem with code, kept coming out. I said, look, if you feel they're treating you unfairly, send them down here on me. Sick them on me. Send them down here to me. And tell him that guy's in violation down there. And if he's not going to fix his, I'm not going to do mine either till we're fairly. I said, you got my permission to do that. I'm asking you to do it because right now, if Code wants to come after me, I want you to come after me right now because I feel like I have the most way to defend myself now. Maybe in 10 years I won't be able to. I might be too old, won't have the money, and if code comes after me then, I'm going to be up the creek, okay? So I'm welcoming code to take it head on right now and start doing it while I feel I'm at my most, defensible place right now. Because we don't have much, people don't. Y'all got all the power, we don't. So right now is the time I would love to lock arms with code compliance. And it needs to be reformed. And it needs to be reformed with people's approval. That's it. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that would be a good thing to do. And I still hadn't got an answer. All I did, I found out the house across the street that said the case is closed. I don't know. Did he take pictures of that? I had a list of questions I wanted to ask that officer. Did you take pictures of that house? Did you go inside and ask them? Did you talk to those people? I don't know. The most I know is that he won't tell me his supervisor's name and ran away. That's where I'm at right now. That's all I know. So I'd like some answers on 616. I'd also like we need a meeting with the director on this one. It needs to go to the director. And then from there. And that's where I want to be at. And that's where I was at last time. And that's where I'm at. So I appreciate your call. I appreciate your time. And, the same thing I told that officer out here. I said, go back and tell your supervisor I want to talk about that one first. That's another question I want to ask him. Did you go back and tell your supervisor? What was your supervisor's answer? I didn't get that. All I got was pictures taken of my house and being attacked. So, right now it's running as a one-way street, and that's we're not. I'm going to resist as much as I can this time, definitely. And that's where I'm at right now. That's my words to you is to the director. He needs to take time to meet with me because this case is big enough to do that. I think it's big enough.
Okay, let me just circle back so I know what. What to follow.
I know. I give you too much garbage there. I keep going on.
No.
I can win a case, talk myself right back out of it.
It's always a pleasure to talk to you.
No, but I appreciate your time. Go ahead.
We always treat each other like.
Okay, like I said, that's fine. I don't blame and like I said, this officer out here, I'm not blaming the officer. I think it comes from the training from the top, and that's why I want to go to the director because I want to fix it for everybody. Yeah. It's not my case. We all live here. And we all need to be treated equally. That's my thing, okay?
Yeah, and you know what? I don't know whether you remember talking to me, but we do talk every now and then.
I know there's some officers I've gotten along with that I thought were really great, and there's some officers that still won't return. They ran away, and they still won't return a call. So these are the things that we need to clear up inside code,
You can always call me.
Okay. Right
now I'm the interim superintendent. So just to answer a question, I think you know who Blake's supervisor is. It's still CC Satterwhite. She's still the CC Bell.
Well, I don't know, but he should have. The things I did was just to get on tape to show what we need to change. We need to modify. It's not so much revenge or going after code or anything. It's just saying, hey, let's clean it up and modify it to treat people. They always call and say, I've interviewed on some of these cases where they always say, we're trying to help you. Hell, the things I see, they weren't helping that guy in that wheelchair, had his foot cut off. They were robbing him. They cut the padlock on his fence, went in his backyard, and they're going to take all his stuff off. And it was all, nothing was scrap. It was metal. They were going to take and sell it. New Era company that does that cleanup, $3,000 fine, and we're going to take it off and sell it. Exactly what they were going to do. And I asked the lawyer, that city lawyer, I said, how come this was a violation before we went over with a camera? When we went over with a camera and code ran off, now it's not a violation. I mean, that doesn't make sense. So anyway, I'm sorry, Ty. That's why I'm saying that it needs to go. That's why I'm trying to get to the point that I had to go to the director first. I need to go to the director and see if he's willing to help go through the procedures because it needs to be. They don't want to modify this. But it's got to. That writing citations every 24 hours without notice, I have not liked living under that for the last 10 years. That being able to write citations with zero notice, I have not liked living under that. This cloud's hanging over my head every day, and I'm still fighting it. I want to see those things change to something decent, That's off to fairness. And if the people agree, if we can go in the pub and get 4 or 5 people to agree, no, I think you should write tickets every 24 hours, and no, I don't think you should give notices, then I can I can live with it. But I don't think, I ain't anybody agree to that, okay? They've all agreed that, go ahead.
Let
I'm
me get
sorry.
you an answer on 616. I'll figure out what's going on over there. So
Give me an answer on 616, if you will. Give me an update on that. What they're going to do, if they're going to do anything, what. I want to know, did they take pictures of that too? Was there pictures? I want to know all. I want to know what all the officer did, please, Ty. What all did he do over there? Did he call him? Did he talk to him? Did he interview? Did he see? What evidence does he have to substantiate what I'm saying here? I want that. I want to know that. And the other thing is, go back to you send up the line to the director and saying that I am insisting a meeting with the director. Okay, please.
Okay.
And I think I'm entitled to that.
Down here also.
Okay.
And then last thing, and you may not want to talk about this, but we are talking about your property.
Okay.
You did say, hey, I don't know, I got a couple things I need to get straight out here. And what can we do to help you get that resolved? I mean,
there's nothing going to change that because look, Todd, if I hadn't been taking care of my property for the last 60 years, you know what it looked like right now?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And the reason why I'm not doing it, I told that officer the reason why. Now, between you and me, I'm going to tell you this once, but I'm not going to explain the code every time I come around or say, well, I'm working on that, or I got these problems here, or this just came up there. I'm not answering anybody. I'm my own man. I live here. This is my home. This is my place. In other words, like I said, now, if someone wants to know what they can do about my property, if there's a problem, they need to come. If my neighbor has a problem like Pete does, we do here. We've been here for years. And the neighbors, or across the street with Debbie, or with Brandon, either one, all of them. Any problem, you know what they do? They come and they tell me. So there's no problem out here. There is no problem. There's a little bit of an eyesore up front right now, but there is no problem out here. No problem whatsoever. It's just that this guy turned it in because I turned him in. Now, if he's got a problem with it, he needs to come first and tell me what his problem is. Then if I don't address the problem, or if I act like a jackass, and I don't care, because, he did the right thing. He come up politely. He's mentioned out what they think the problem is, and I should do, and he doesn't work for the city. He's my neighbor. But this guy don't live out here. He doesn't even live out here to turn me in. Doesn't even live here. But he's got to live here, too, I want him in my neighbor. My neighbor comes over and tells me, I will address it, like I've said before. And I will address it to the fullest. But as far as code compliance helping me to address it, no, because it's a never-ending thing. It would be a never-ending thing, and I'm not going to live on anything like that. It's just not. It's a waste of code's time right now. This whole thing, it's a waste. That's why we need to rewrite the rules for the director. Things need to be written. It would save money. It would save time. It would treat people decently. And this is one thing. No, the guy has to come out here. There's nothing. I don't need anything. I've got the money to fix it. Matter of fact, I'm leaving it on purpose, intentionally. I worked for the Dallas Cowboys almost 40 years, and I make most of my money during that time of the year, during the season. It depends on how they're playing. When they're winning, my checks are up, and when they're losing, they're down. I'm a contractor in with them. But that's when I do most of the work, and close to the weather, too. It starts kind of cooling off over the summer. It's nice, and there's always a list of things to do here. And I had already started the procedures on modifying the house all the way around, from one point to the other. I've started on the back. I put in another new big window by one of mine, so now I got two big windows to look out. I wanted that. I put another kitchen window in. I putting on a back porch, another bigger porch on the back there. I'm in the middle of replacing stuff and redoing the roof. There's some stuff on the back side that needs to be done. And I've got my sawhorses are out there. My tools are together out there now. They're in the shop. I worked last week a little bit. I had to go do some concerts, work some games. I had to take care of business. I come back. The weather's beautiful. I turn on the radio and do a little work. This up front part needs to be done. It's on the list to be done. It's going to be done. But by God, Todd, it's going to be done at my pace. I'm retired. I didn't get retired to start pushing a clock for someone that doesn't even live here, or people start telling me it don't pay me. That I pay y'all, and you're going to tell me how fast to work. See? So the answer to these kind of things, the real answer, and for everybody, is to, see if you can get me in a meeting with the director. They probably don't want to do it. They probably may not do it. He may not, at all. That's okay. But until we modify code compliance, I don't recognize it. Okay, I'm not going to recognize it at all. Y'all can do whatever. You can write tickets against my house. You can write tickets. Or you can put a lien against it. You can do whatever you want to. But I'm not going to recognize, and I will fight anybody coming on my property, because I do not recognize you. You're not a legitimate organization to recognize. You just seen the officer run away. Why would I want to work with an organization that doesn't work right? You know, that most of it does. It's broken. Okay, the company. I'm not blaming you. It's not the employees. So there's some good ones and bad ones, like anything, but the system is broken. It needs to be fixed. Everything has to be modified every so often. Like my house, it has to be, I had to keep doing this year after year. I mean, every so many years, things always, it's like a never-ending job. But, I love doing it. I've got room. I'm blessed with what I've got. I got trees. I got horses out here, and I don't have to look at my door and see someone else, I love that. And I love working on my house, and I love repairing. You know what? I'll give you another thing, too. If it wouldn't been for code compliance, it's a double-edged sword back what happened 13 years ago. The money then that I've spent since then because they opened my eyes to what's going on. If we'd had a decent city, a decent mayor, just normal procedures, that's all, just normal. When someone in the city does something wrong, they are, they get penalized for it when they do something wrong. But now they don't get penalized whatsoever. They get protected. They get protected when they do wrong. So if it was the other way around when they do wrong, that they were penalized like we are when we do wrong, that would be a fair game. And if I'd seen that back then, if it was like that, and we had a decent mayor and people answering questions, all that, none of this would be going on. My life would have took another change. It would have been doing what I had planned to do, was I was clearing that property off, put horses down there, and all the money that I spent, I stopped all of it back then with code compliance camera. When they tapped me behind my back and I saw what was going on, I couldn't believe it. It's just like a twilight zone I went into. So I dropped my career. What I'm doing, I'm getting older. My life's going away, and it's not doing what I want to do. At this time right now, the money I spent, this would have been looking great all the way down through here. Not only this, I would have had be able to do what I wanted to pursue, because when I got through doing merchandising and that, I was already working with promoters. I wanted in my older age right now, I want to be involved in promoting bands. I work with some promoters, but I've been merchandised for 30 years and made it great money in that. Worked for the Rolling Stones for 20 years and supplied part of the Olympics. I was involved in the Olympics. That's the ultimate of all. In the entertainment world, there is nothing bigger than the Olympics. And I had a contract in the Olympics, 25 consecutive Super Bowls. I'm proud of what I did in that world. And I worked with people that know how to do business. And now I got involved in the city, and it's like it doesn't run like a business. It runs chaotically, I don't know how it manages. Really, it's crazy, but it drives me crazy, But nevertheless, respect has got to be restored to people, and that's what I'm fighting for. And I'm one of the people.
Well, I hope that you feel respected when we talk. I hope.
I do. I don't have no problem, Ty. I don't have no nothing against you. It's not your fault. It's not your play. And you're doing what you said. I wish your officer could have came out and talked like you did. And then you wouldn't have to be doing this. You would be doing more important things. You see, so that's why it's got to go back to the top and start fixing down the line how to start either retraining officers and stop intimidating people, But let's just see if the director will give me a meeting. Let's see where we're at there, okay, Ty? And see what you can get me on 616. I appreciate your time, because I can't afford professional counsel, and I like venting as much as I can here. I appreciate that.
I'll be your counselor, Bob.
So that, and then, I got to change the decaf coffee because I talk too much. But no, I can be very reasonable. I'm very fair, but I want a fair ground to play on. I was being very fair. It's all on tape. That's why I film it.
Sure.
If I didn't film it, I wouldn't have crap right now. And the reason why I filmed it is because what happened 13 years ago. What they did behind my back. So let's get to the director, see if he will. Let's see if we can't modify. Yeah. And then when code compliance come out, I won't feel I have to bring a camera out. I'll feel like, he's going to answer my questions, Then we're.
Next time they make an appointment with you, I'll have Cece come out there and talk to you.
Well, you can have anybody come out and talk to you. But right now, on my house, we're going to talk about that one over there first, and some things are going to have to be changed. That's why I'm going to need a meeting with the director. I'm not worried about this. Is a little bit of an eyesore. It's not environmentally. It's not hurting anybody. There is nobody complaining. No one really is. Like I said, it's coming from a retaliation call from the guy across the street, which is hard to believe that he's breaking the rules. And that's another thing we got to look at. How can he keep breaking the rules and there's no penalty against him? This is what we need to I want to focus around him first, and let's find out all the evidence, and let's see what's happening over there before you start coming down on me, okay? Let's hammer there first.
So I live in the city of Fort Worth.
Uh-huh.
I'm a citizen here. So citizen to citizen. We're talking about you saying, hey, if my neighbors had a problem because they thought, hey, I got some stuff laying around out here and it might cause, an added.
Or any reason at all, come talk to me.
Sure.
That's all.
Yeah, I understand how you feel about that.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that we do, I like to think of it in the best way I possibly can, which is we anticipate those things. We receive complaints about those things, and we come around and say, hey, Mr. Willoughby, you got some stuff laying around out here. Would you mind picking that up? Because you're not supposed to have it out here, and we give you some time to take care of that. And then we listen to whether or not you're going to be able to, how much time it's going to take you, and we try and push you to get it done faster, and we give you a timeline. And that's what we're doing here. And I'm looking at, at your place, you got some stuff laying around, and I think that you could get out there and get that cleaned up, and it would be better for you.
It'll be cleaned up. It'll be cleaned up in my time, okay? It's going to be cleaned up in my time. But first, before we talk about how it's going to be cleaned up and when it's going to be cleaned up, and I done told you what I didn't really want to tell you, that I am working. I am working on the back and around. I can only do so much each day, okay? And I'm not going to drop one part and run over and do another just because y'all want that done first, and there's no neighbors complaining about it. You understand my point?
Somebody's complaining.
No, okay. That's where we're at. That's why we want to get back to the director. I want to see my accuser. I want to see who's complaining about it. Maybe, you know what? This is artwork. This is artwork to me. I call this artwork. I call it old-fashioned home artwork. That's what I call it. Okay? I'm an artist. I put that out there just like that, and I let the wood crack like that so I can get that artwork look. Okay? And I'm shooting pictures of it.
I'm talking about also stuff. There's just some stuff laying around.
Well, okay. Well, whatever. If I want it laying around, it's going to lay around. But like I said, when my neighbor comes over and says there's a problem about that or they don't think it looks good or it needs to be done, I will jump and take care of it. But until my neighbor can tell me, like Pete does. See, we do that with my neighbors right now. We do that. We've had that out here for years. We've had that, okay? And I'm not going to lose that. I don't want to lose that kind of living. I don't want code compliance coming around telling me when it doesn't look good or can. And I'll tell you something I offer to code compliance, too. I offer this to your offers. One person called me not too long ago over close by Watauga. I went out there to see, and he had his whole yard has a fenced off stock. You can't even see in his backyard. You can't even see in it. But yet, code compliance is having a fit about what's in there. And I called and I said, you ought to leave him alone. His wife is in the hospital on dialysis. He's been in the hospital, just got out. They're ill. And you ought to just give it a miss because you can't see it. His house looks great. His house looks a lot better than mine on the front, okay? Yeah, I've drove it around it. You can't see anything. It's just in his backyard. And there's just no reason to be bothering him. But yet they didn't. I said, here, how about this, Code? How about this? I will come out and help clean up his yard. I'll volunteer my time. Now, you guys are on payroll. You send me out a code person to help me, too, and we'll both clean it up, okay? And for every one other person I get to help come out to help us, you send another code to help us, and we'll do it together, and we'll help clean up the city, and we won't fine them. We won't tie up the courts. We'll treat them with respect, and you got volunteers doing it for free, and you're getting paid. You're on the clock, okay? Now tell me, how can that not be something to at least think about or consider? How can that not be? So that's why I want to meet with the director. I think that's a very good thing.
I'm the person you proposed that to.
Did I? Oh, okay. You're the one I'm talking.
Yeah, we talked to.
Okay. Well, then, okay. But then, okay, that's why I want to get to the director and talk about things like that. There's a whole list of things like that, I think. Maybe that might not be a good idea. Maybe there might be some flaws to it. I don't know, but it's something to talk about, okay? It's something to do. And that's what we're going to have to get to. As far as fixing my house up, it's not hurting anybody. And I'm not moving. I'm standing still. This guy comes out and runs off. There's like I told him. I said, go back to your supervisor, tell him what I said, and then come back and tell me what it was. They didn't. He didn't come back. He just came back and started attacking with pictures. So my conversation with you, Ty, is that you go ahead and take it up to your two steps. One is I want all the information I need about the house across the street. I want to cover that first before we even think about this. We're not even going to think about this over here. We're going to think about that first. I want to see where we're at, where it's going, what's going to happen, all that kind of stuff. The second thing, you can put in a request for me to meet with the director because we need to talk about reform. I'm not going to, it just needs to be reformed. Everything has to be remodeled. Code compliance has not been remodeled for, it has probably, but not the way we want it. And if we don't know, they keep adding rules and stuff and, the way it is now, city council could pass an ordinance that we don't know about that could make me in violation, and code compliance could come out here and write me a ticket without notice. They wanted to. Just like that. And I not know anything about it. So we need safeguards from what's going on. And after what I've seen, when code compliance attacked me behind my back, that's a low thing to do. That's very low. To write lies on paper and send it to people that I do business with. And I have all that stuff still. And ever since that day, I've been, that's got to change. I think, but you can't be allowed to do that. So I'm not playing with a fair organization to talk to about my house or fixing things up. Now, and like I said, neighbors can come out, and if I'm hostile to the neighbor, then they should call you, and then you should come out and see what you can do, or what you have to do, or whatever. And I think you're in your right, and I think we need that. We need a code. I want to call it service. I don't like compliance. The Jews didn't resist in World War II when the Germans had them to put signs in the window of the Jew, or wear armbands of the Jew, or to get on the trains. The Jews never did resist one bit along the way, all the way like lambs to the slaughterhouse. And you've seen what happened to them in the Holocaust. And they never resisted. They did everything they were told. Put a sign in your window. Put an armband on you so we know you're a Jew. All this kind of stuff. And they didn't resist. Well, I'm not like that. I've learned from that, okay? I'm resisting what's going on. 100% resisting. And we're going to have to change it at the top before I start respecting any of it, okay? You see where I think I made my point clear with where I'm at, what my problems are, and it's for everybody in the city. It's not just I don't want to just fix my problem. I want to fix the problems happening to everybody, okay? And also, as far as my violations out here, what's going on, I'll tell you. If you want me to, I can get you 20 pictures of places right now, a lot worse than mine. You want to go ahead and call them and start working on it over at Stop 6? I can go right now and get you some pictures of stuff that are in violation. And I'd like to see you send an officer out there and take care of that. Okay?
I've got pictures of the stop sign.
Okay, well, I think
I don't need yours. I got my own.
I think you might know what I'm talking about. Okay?
I understand what you mean.
And that's a lot worse than this. Okay? So priority ought to play a role too.
Yeah, I would agree on that.
Okay, Ty. Okay. So we agree on some things. I think you see my point. I think I've got a legitimate argument. Right now, I am in the process of filing a restraining order against Officer Blake, not to come on my property again. I don't know if I can do it. I'm doing that I do this local voter education thing. I do shows. I'm into just trying to get people informed. So I'm doing this not against Blake because what he did. I'm learning to see if I can do this. I said, he hit me. I said, I wonder if I can file a restraining order. So it's nothing personal against him. I'm not doing it against him. So if you talk to him, tell him this is not personal. I'm just doing this as an educational thing to see if I could possibly do it or not and see what the response are. That's why I'm going down that trail. So okay,
that's fine. We're going to talk to Blake. He's relatively new also, but we're just going to talk to him about it's okay for Mr. Willoughby to record you. We're on.
Well, y'all talk to him, whatever. But we need to get, like I said, I want to get to the director, and I want to fix a set of rules that comes all the way down for everybody. Let's get some kind of guidelines, something to go by. And
I'll go ahead and let me record or make a record that you don't want anybody walking on your property even to come to the door to contact you. You'd rather we make an appointment with you? Is that your preference?
Yes. We don't want anybody right now. Not on this code compliance rules, okay? Now, if they were to come in and actually modify it and treat it and make it like a legitimate normal that the people agree to, then what I'm asking for now may not apply. It may not be necessary to apply, what I'm asking for. And the reason I'm asking for these things now, saying, no, don't come on my property, don't do this, don't do that, is because of the rules it runs under now, That's why. So we can change those. I can change my attitude. It's like, hell yeah, come on the property anytime you want to, You're not here to look for things, and we're going to, if it needs to be done. If it needs to be done. But we've lived out here, like I said, all my life. So I want this area where I'm at to stay normal and sane. We take care of our problems out here. There's no sense for code to be out here. And if there is a problem, then that's why you're there, to call you. And that's good. That's good to have it there. Because, people don't need to be fighting with each other. They need enough sense to know that if someone's not acceptable or talkable or whatever, then let's go there. But if I'll give you one example out here in John T. While I grew up out here. There's been 6 times in the last couple of years, they've had, these people have moved in, had parties out in the back, the band playing, music coming across, you can hear it halfway across the area here in my house. I've gone over to the place. 3 times, the people were very hostile. I just went up to ask them, and they were very hostile. I got off their property immediately and had to call the police 3 different times. 3 different times, the people said, oh, we didn't know. They turned the speakers this way, gave them my number. They'd call me. If they have anything, let me know. That's all. That's fine. Communicate. And they were very nice. So 3 times they were nice. And when I called the last time the police came out, I mentioned it to the officer. He said, you ought to call us when there's a problem. I said, well, there's 6 times I did this. 3 times I didn't have to call you because the people weren't good. So that's what I'm getting back. People had to communicate first a little bit, and then go to their services before they start calling. It's not necessary a lot of times. It won't be necessary sometimes, but if it is necessary, then we need this organization there, if you follow where I'm coming from. And it would cut down. It would help the city all the way around for his money and everything, So anyway, Ty, I appreciate your time. I'll let you get back to work. I know you took enough time with me here. So let's digest this and see where we're at from here, okay?
Okie dokie. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
I'll get back to you soon.
Thank you for your time. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I've had no contact with code compliance for about 2 weeks until this officer here showed up taking pictures.
How you doing?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
I'm doing all right here.
Yeah? I see you removed the canopy. That was
No, a tree did that. I wasn't going to remove it. I'm not fixing none of the violations right now.
Okay.
Ma'am, hold on just a minute.
no,
You're going to run off?
Yes, I mean, if
You're going to run off. You're not going to answer any questions or anything?
You're not going to want to comply, then
No, I am complying. Y'all not complying. That's why I filed a lawsuit, and I think that's why you're here. I just filed it the other day, and now you show up.
No, sir.
Well, that's funny. I just filed it against you the other day.
Okay.
Okay, now hold on.
Thank you, sir. You have a
You're
good
going to
day.
run away? That's why I'm filing, because you run away. That's the only choice I have. See how they run? Code compliance will not talk to anybody. They run